I'm Katrina Cotton for Investment Pitch Media. Thanks for joining us today. Astra Exploration has released results from the first 11 of 30 completed drill holes at the Pampa Paciencia gold-silver project in northern Chile. The flagship 3,840 hectare road-accessible, low-sulphidation epithermal gold-silver project is located within an active mining district less than 15 kilometers from two major mines, Gorda and Spence, and 5 kilometers from the Faride mine in the Antofagasta region in northern Chile. Astra has completed property-wide mapping and sampling, geophysical surveys, and localized trenching, and in doing so, has defined a vein boulder field over approximately 75% of the project area. The veins do not outcrop as the majority of the project area is covered by a thin layer of gravels and caliche, but the vein float can be used to identify areas of high prospectivity. Reverse circulation drilling commenced on veins within the interpreted 5-kilometer long north zone vein corridor. A total of 2,981 meters were completed in 30 holes between February and March 2022, which mostly concentrated on defining the strength and depth continuity of the Paciencia vein system. 3 holes tested veins at depth in the central zone, shown in the insert, and 2 holes tested geophysical targets in the north zone. The 11 holes reported today targeted the Paciencia vein within the corridor along a strike length of 400 meters. All holes intercepted the vein, with several intercepting a subparallel footwall splay. 11 historical holes had been drilled previously on the property, and Astra's geologists continued with the numbering system, with hole 22-12 being first of the current holes. Historical drill holes were widely spaced, leaving significant strike and dip length to expand the historical drill intercepts into larger bodies of mineralization. These first results strongly support this interpretation, with holes 22-12, 13 and 14, expanding mineralization to the east where it remains open along strike and at depth. The geochemical results in this table confirm the gold-rich nature of the Paciencia vein, with an average silver to gold ratio of 16 in the higher grade portions of the vein, increasing to 48 when in the wider low-grade zones. Highlights include hole 22-12 with 14.48 grams per ton gold and 39.7 grams per ton silver over 3 meters downhole, within a broader zone of 2.71 grams per ton gold and 10.8 grams per ton silver over 21 meters downhole. Hole 13 with 3.28 grams per ton gold and 58.3 grams per ton silver over 6 meters downhole, within a broader zone of 1.6 grams per ton gold and 21.3 grams per ton silver over 22 meters downhole. Hole 14 with 4.09 grams per ton gold and 45.22 grams per ton silver over 4 meters downhole, within a broader zone of 1.39 grams per ton gold and 17.1 grams per ton silver over 17 meters downhole. Drill assays for the remaining 18 holes are expected before the end of May. Joining us today is CEO Brian Miller to discuss the company and today's news. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me here today, Katrina. I'd like to talk a little bit about Astra's recent news release we put out May 2nd, highlighting some of the drill results on our program. We returned 11 of 29 drill holes from assay results. We're still waiting on the 18, still waiting on 18 of them to be released yet, but the first 11 drill holes came back with some great results. We did have some high-grade gold over 3 meters. That was almost 14.5 grams of gold in hole 12. Hole 13 returned a little over 3 grams of gold and 58 grams of silver over 6 meters. And hole 14 returned about 4 grams of gold and 45 grams of silver over 4 meters. And so for the first 11 holes in the initial drill program, we're quite excited about this. This demonstrates the ability of the system to produce much higher grades than what we previously were aware of. But in addition to that, what we observed in the field is the thickness of a lot of these veins. So on average, what we drilled in this first program here, we had vein thicknesses of 10 to 20 meters thickness, which is atypical for these types of systems. Typically, you see vein widths more along the lines of 1 to 5 meters in width. So everything so far continues to point to the thesis of a large epithermal system under this shallow sediment cover, but now with the ability to really drive some higher grades. Based on what we've seen in quartz texturing and some of the trace elements in the geochemistry, it still indicates that we're high in the precious metals horizon, which is exactly what we want to see, meaning that the precious metals is preserved to depth. So we have this high-grade ore shoot in the eastern margin of the Paciencia vein that is open along strike and to depth. And further, what we see as far as the horizon that we're at, the elevation in the system, that suggests that it is possible to continue down to depth and get into some higher grade material below some of this lower grade intervals that still occur over wide widths of, say, 20, 25 meters. In the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things with Pampa Paciencia, the project is exceptionally well located, both geologically and logistically. It's within 15 kilometers of two major operating copper mines, Spence and Sierra Gorda, and the past producing Faride mine directly to the south, about 5 kilometers. So you can stand on the project and literally point over there and see the natural gas line. You can point over there and see the electrical power plant, and you can point to the south and see a processing facility. So it really is an exceptional location, low elevation. You can explore year round, and we've demonstrated that the exploration can be quite cost efficient. We drilled almost 3,000 meters of RC drilling for an all-in cost of roughly $650,000 Canadian. So I think that we've gleaned a lot of information from this first program. We've added a lot of value, and we've done so for relatively marginal, for some marginal cost. The program's targeted 5 main target areas. 3 of those target areas, we break the Paciencia vein up into 3 sections. There's the west section, the east section, and the main section. These 11 drill holes here are from the main structure in the center of all of that. And we've got holes remaining for the other 2, but we also drilled 3 holes in the central zone to the south, and we drilled 2 more holes in some geophysical targets in the north zone. Obviously, we hope to get in some more grade like we experienced with this first round, but notably, the continuity of the structures and the widths of the structures is quite impressive. And the west vein, on average, cut about 15 meters of thickness. And then further, one of the targets that I mentioned, geophysical targets, further to the northwest, was about a 30-meter intersection in a large quartz vein, and that's directly on strike with Paciencia West. So there really is a lot of opportunity there for some interesting results, especially if we find another one of these ore shoots like we found in the eastern margin of the Paciencia vein. Yeah, so we'll be expecting to receive the results from the remaining 18 drill holes probably by the end of May, is what we believe. The lab's been tracking well with scheduling, so we will be putting those out probably just before PDAC. Everything so far is pointing to a very large epithermal system undercover that's got the ability to produce high grades in a fantastic location. And that this is a project that can be explored quite cost effectively. So I think we have a lot to look forward to here in this developing story that's just in its early days.
Thank you, Brian. The shares, which began trading on the TSX Venture Exchange on January 26, are currently trading at 23 cents. For more information on the company, please visit the company's website, astra-exploration.com. Contact Brian Miller, CEO, at 208-830-0869 or by email at brian.miller@astra-exploration.com. I'm Katrina Cotton for Investment Pitch Media.